the dial, turn it loud. Miami's pride, make us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score. Raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore. All for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, winning again. Podcast fam, till the end. Tune in, now let's begin.
Welcome to the CanesWear Weekly Podcast with the legendary Brad Tejeda and Miami Mando. We're going to have Uncle Cliff, join us shortly, and we're going to have an hour of fun today. We're going to be discussing the upcoming game, the Nooner against Wake Forest. We're going to be discussing the Miami Hurricanes, ranked number 8 in the CFP poll. We're going to discuss Cam Ward's chances of winning a Heisman. So get your questions, get your answers. We're going to pick one person at the end of the show that's going to go ahead and get a free CanesWear $25 gift card. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like it's been a month since we played a game. I mean, it feels like forever. I know the last game, the disappointing loss to Georgia Tech, and it just seems like that happened so long ago. And we're going to see how we can make the Canes better. We're going to, because of this podcast, their defense is going to improve, no doubt. We're going to be able to stop the running, and we're going to have the quick hitch passes. So I'm excited, though. It was an off week. We all got to get our game back in gear. And 12 noon. I hope everybody's going to the game. So welcome, Brad. Welcome, Mando. How are you guys doing today?
Going on, Brett?
I'm doing fantastic.
B&B, right? B&B and Mando.
B&B.
We got Cliff joining us shortly. And make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button for us. And like Brett said, drop some comments below. Any questions, any answers you need. We got it between us three and Cliff as well. But yeah, we just finished the bye week. I think all of our Hurricane fans are anticipating and waiting for this team to get back on the field. Like Brett mentioned, this is the last home game, last opportunity to not only see these seniors, but see our guy Cam Ward, Heisman candidate, in the flesh, in person one more time in Hard Rock. So make sure y'all fill in that stadium and pack the house, because this team needs all the support we could get on and off the football field. We've shown that we could travel away. Let's continue to show that we could travel at home as well for this last home game. And yeah, right off the bat, right, we had our first newest news this evening with Miami being ranked now number 8 in that AP poll. There's some controversy out there. I got an ESPN notification on the phone. I don't know about y'all, but it looks like we're in the conversation with Alabama, and it's not a good thing, right? They're trying to question, why did a team like Alabama, who just beat Mercer, get to jump ahead of a team like Miami? It seems like in the media realm the last few weeks, not only has our team been getting critiqued and downsized, but so is our guy Cam Ward when it comes to the Heisman, consistency and betting odds out there. But what are y'all's thoughts, Mando, Brett? What are y'all's thoughts on some of those things?
Mando?
Yeah, as far as that, yeah, I mean, you beat the Bama's playing good ball right now. I'm not going to deny that, but you beat the mighty Mercer by 45, and all of a sudden you go up. So this is what's going to happen by looking at what you just put up on the board there. If things hold play, basically you're going to have 2 lost SEC teams not make the conference championship, and they're going to get in the playoff. Whereas you could have a scenario where I'm talking about Alabama, they can lose a third game. Let's say if it's Texas in the SEC championship, they lose, they're out.
Yep.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I didn't really understand Alabama going over ahead of Miami there, but we'll see what happens.
No sense at all, it makes. I agree. I mean, and we're all waiting for that shoe to drop. Hopefully, the Hurricanes don't have to put themselves in that position, and they can win out, and we don't have to worry about it. But it's crazy that you're right. There are going to be teams in the SEC and probably the Big Ten, for that matter, since 4 of the 5 top teams are in the Big Ten, correct?
Yeah, because Penn State,
Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana, and Penn State's already lost. I mean, granted, Ohio State lost to Oregon, Penn State lost to Ohio State. I mean, we don't know how good those teams are, but if you beat each other, you have a beat another slouchers. They're saying these guys were all great. So both of those conferences are going to have teams that do not play in the conference finals getting into the tournament ahead of teams that lose in the conference finals. And teams that would have, for example, Miami plays, okay, or somebody plays like Miami. They're 11-1 at the end of the season. You know what? Miami needs to win to get in there, where a team like Penn State or a team like Georgia or Alabama isn't playing. They're automatically going to jump ahead of the losers, which makes no sense whatsoever. You should not be penalized for playing in a conference championship.
Yeah, a lot of this is also when, just like as we know as college football fans forever, a lot of it is when you lose. If you lose one or two earlier on or mid to late, but now, let's say if UM makes it to the end against SMU, for example, and they lose, are they going to get in? You'd probably say no at this point, the way it's looking, because we're like, 8, 9, 10. How are you going to get in the top 12?
Correct. Unless other teams lose.
I think some of the obvious and glaring things to this, right? So we kind of understood this not only before this season, but even going back to last year with a team like Florida State that had such a magical run, had one loss, and yet they were still left out. This is getting to, you either got to be in the SEC or in the Big Ten to get that media respect that you want to get throughout this college playoff run, right? And soon it's going to literally be just two conferences, SEC and your Big Ten is going to turn into Big 20, right? And I think what this goes to show you is a team like Miami, a team like SMU, they're not getting the respect that they deserve. And this is not only just currently, this is week in and week out when you talk about these college playoff rankings that are starting to come out and just the rankings in general, because just like Miami has gone through, tough crunch games against opponents that maybe they should not have had a tough game or even a loss. There are other big time programs that we're seeing ranked ahead or getting the more media praise over Miami, and yet they are going through the same gauntlet and the same trials and tribulations that Miami have. And if I'm not mistaken, it's even worse. I mean, just going back to this past weekend, while Miami was on a bye, you had a team like Oregon that barely won against a 5-5 Wisconsin.
It's tough to win. It's tough to win.
16-13. Where is their criticism, right?
Exactly. No criticism. And Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. What is Vanderbilt's record right now?
Listen, you had Texas that struggled again against a 5-5 Arkansas team, 20-10. You had BYU that got upset by a 4-6 Kansas team. You had Tennessee that lost to Georgia. You had Washington State that lost to a 5-6 New Mexico team. And then you also had Louisville getting a loss to a 3-7 Stanford team. And yet none of these teams are getting the criticism or being put on this pedestal like Miami is. And it's huge disrespect, not only for our football program, but we're saying the same treatment and disrespect for our guy Cam Ward in the Heisman.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, Cam Ward should definitely be the leader in the Heisman. I mean, he is playing phenomenal this season. Yeah. If you're talking about MVPs, if Cam Ward was not on this team, I believe we have at least 4 losses.
At the very minimum, 3. At least 3.
So the Virginia Tech game, I don't think we win that game. The Virginia Tech game, I don't think we win the California game. And who knows if those 2 games for sure. And we possibly don't win that Gator game with playing this tough. So I agree with you, Bobby. We ain't played nobody all year. We have
Colorado. Colorado hasn't played anybody either, Bobby.
Yeah, who has Colorado played? And how do we know what's Mississippi State's record? Who have they lost to?
Who have they beat?
Exactly.
I think that's more of the tougher question. Who have they beat?
Exactly. Yeah. So who have these teams beat? But we're looked at. We have to know how good the Big Ten is. Now, granted, Oregon just went by Ohio State. Indiana hasn't played anybody pretty much.
We're going to find out this week about Indiana. Ohio State's a 12.5-point favorite. We'll see if Indiana's legit this week.
That game's in Ohio State?
I believe so, and Ohio State's a 12.5-point favorite.
I like Ohio State in that game, but Ohio State really isn't blowing, so I like Ohio State. Welcome, Cliff, to the program.
What's up, guys?
Uncle Cliffy is in the house.
What's going on, Cliff?
Yeah,
hanging and banging.
Yes, sir. Yeah, if you look at the bracket that Brad had posted a few moments ago, I mean, obviously this can change between now and next Tuesday, but if it holds the way it is right now, Ohio State as a 5 seed would just have to beat BYU and Boise to get to the semifinals. Are you kidding me? Like, it's a cakewalk. Like, I mean, they're almost better off staying as a 5 seed at this point. It's crazy.
Cliff, now that we got you on, Cliff, we talked a little bit about the playoff, contention and rankings currently with Miami at number 8. A team like Bama jumping Miami with a win against Mercer. But I want to get your take on Cam Ward's current Heisman stakes, when you look at the Vegas odds, depending on what betting sites you want to go to, you got Travis Hunter currently in the lead at minus 350, Ashton Genty from Boise State at plus 375, and then our guy Cam Ward is in third at plus 1400. Cliff, let me start with you and then Brett and Mando. Where do you feel like Cam Ward currently needs to be in this Heisman race, and why you think he's not getting the respect he deserves coming off a bye and only one loss for the season?
Well, he's not getting the respect he deserves because he plays at Miami. If he played at any other program, he would be number one right now. We know that. Yep. But, I mean, the other guys are playing great too. I'm not taking anything away from them. But, I mean, Cam Ward's numbers are just ridiculous right now. And I'm the Boise State kid's ridiculous too. But if you put Travis Hunter, Travis Hunter is in this position because he's great on both sides of the field. And I get that. I mean, that's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But if you just look at him as a wide receiver, is he even a top 5 or 6 wide receiver numbers-wise in the nation?
He had that great catch at the beginning of the season.
He had unbelievable catch.
I don't think his stats were that good. We got to look him up during the show. But
his numbers aren't that great on either side. You know what I'm saying? So he's getting this recognition because he's, plays both sides. But if he didn't, he wouldn't be. And we know that Cam Ward's not getting recognition because he plays at Miami. If he played any other, if his logo on the side of it, on the front of his chest said anything else but Miami, he'd be the number one guy no matter what. Who has Boise State played? They haven't played anybody either. Nothing.
And the game they did play this competition, he didn't run all over them.
Oh, he did. He's amazing. I'm not taking.
It's been a long time since a quarterback has not won the Heisman Trophy, and I know, and you've got Shedeur Sanders, okay, and has similar statistics, but it's not as good as Cam. So the problem is a lot of people have thought that the Hurricanes are trying to showcase Cam when we should be running the ball more. Now for Cam to win this thing, he's got to have lights out numbers. Now, obviously, it's more important to win, but Cam's going to finish. What is he at? 36 touchdowns right now and 6 interceptions.
His numbers are comparable to Joe Burrow's 2019.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Simply put,
he's got 34. He's got 3,500 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions currently, with still 2 games remaining. And not only is he got those stats, but look at the guys around him. I know there's a lot of fans out there that are wanting more JoJo Trader, wanting more Elijah Lofton or a Ray Joseph, right? But one of the good things that is helping this team is your core nucleus of guys. You got 4 guys, actually 5 when you talk about just a receiving core, because you also got to include Elijah Arroyo as well at tight end, who's doing a tremendous job this year and could be even doing better if Cam Ward made some more opportunities when it needed to be in the last few games. But all in all, with 2 games remaining, the fact that you're going to have a 1,000-yard receiver again and Xavier Strepo, and then you're going to have 4 other guys that are going to have over 500 receiving yards or more with this type of quarterback, and you're going to have a balanced attack in the running game, you cannot ask for anything more from a guy like Cam Ward and what he's been able to do for this team. You got X getting another 1,000 yards this year, and then all the other guys that I mentioned, as Isaiah Horton, Jacoby George, Sam Brown, and Elijah Arroyo will all end up with over 500 yards when it's all said and done.
Okay. Now you showed in that betting pool, Sanders was better at lower odds, correct, than Cam?
Correct.
So explain that to me. If you've got Travis Hunter, who's obviously your world is the heavy favorite, and he's the wide receiver, how is Sanders ahead of Ward? Ward doesn't have Travis Hunter.
Ward
was third.
Ward is ahead of Sanders.
I know. Ward ahead of Sanders?
Yes.
What's Sanders' odds?
I'm not sure on that, but I will say this. Going back to Travis Hunter, you wanted those stats. Travis Hunter is a wide receiver. Just to give you guys an example, I know he plays both sides of the field. As great as X has been this year, Xavier Strepo this year so far has 934 yards and 10 touchdowns. Travis Hunter, who also plays on the other side of the football this year at wide receiver, has 911 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, I told you.
Pretty impressive to be playing both sides of the football field, and yet you're pretty much neck and neck with a guy like Xavier Strepo, and we know what he does for this program. So, I mean, you can't knock a guy like Travis Hunter because this is a guy that's a unicorn. This is something that you're not going to see very often. So you got to give him some type of leeway and some type of credit. Me personally, I think it just makes more sense from a media aspect to give it to someone who, again, is a unicorn, something that you're not going to be able to see each and every year. You're going to be able to see a guy like Cam Ward again in a Hurricane uniform, maybe not, but you see guys each and every year at that quarterback position do what Cam Ward's doing, and that's what kind of helps us as Miami fans say, hey, this is why someone like Cam Ward deserves a Heisman, because previous guys at the same position have the same exact stats, and you gave them the Heisman. So why not Cam Ward?
Correct.
But at the end of the day, how many guys can you go back in the last 20, 30 years and say, hey, this guy is the number one corner and he's the number one wide receiver, and he's putting up just as much stats as your favorite team's number one wide receiver?
Yeah, like Cliff said, you can't take anything away from that kid. And I think, as we said earlier, what's helping him also is the team record. If they were 5-4, 4-6, you wouldn't even see him in the top 15 or 20. But they're a media darling also. Either you love them or you hate them. Like last week, they're on Fox. They're on Fox at noon. Pre-game show there for an hour. You got Dion, you got Shador, all the guys, celebrities on the sideline. That's helping them. Plus, right now, like we talk about the betting, they are now the odds-on favorite to win the conference. If they're not, he's not in the top 3 or top 1 or top 2. So that's another big thing. But I didn't realize the Hunter's receiving numbers were that good, to be honest with you. That's serious. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
So they got Oklahoma State and Kansas left. Would a loss
Kansas is playing good ball.
Would a loss in either of those games bring him down, Hunter? You think if they have 3 losses?
You know, that's interesting, right? Because it's funny that we're comparing and talking about Travis Hunter and compared to Cam Ward and Heisman votes, but at the same time, these two programs are actually in the same boat from a playoff and a media aspect. Both of those teams, like to your point, each of these teams control their own destiny. If either one of these teams, Colorado or Miami, loses a game, what happens to them? Are they completely out of the picture? That's where it's interesting. Is the media going to give a team like Colorado the same respect that a team like Miami gets after a potential loss? Same thing with the Heisman odds with Travis Hunter and Cam Ward.
Yeah.
That's a good point, an excellent point. So we'll see. You know, it's kind of mixed feelings here because, you know, we want Cam to have a great game, but I mean, if we run the ball for 300 yards this game, the Canes are a better team.
No, obviously. I mean, yes.
So I believe Cam more than the Heisman wants to get to the playoffs.
He wants to win.
You know what? So and the Heisman talk ends after the final game of the season. The ACC or the championship games do not count. Correct?
Say that one time.
I thought I heard
championship games count in the Heisman. I know the bowl games don't, but do the championship games, the ACC, the Big Ten, I do not believe they count.
No,
I don't think they do either. No.
They're the bowl games, but that's an excellent question. If somebody, one of the judges, can look up that question.
Well, I know the ceremony is actually the 14th, the Saturday after the conference, so it might be. That's very good. That's very important.
When do they vote too? When do these people vote?
I think I read online that it ends the Monday the 8th or 9th.
Right?
Before the
No. The voting actually ends after the conference championship. So that's what I'm wondering.
That makes a difference too. Then
it probably could.
I'm not. We'd have to check on that because that's a big deal. If we don't even make the conference championship, he's definitely not going to win the award.
Nope.
Jorge Blanco with a comment. We need to win out. It's simple. Completely agree. I think we all can agree that this team, it controls their own destiny. You know, we had a upset loss against Georgia Tech, but guess what? Before the season started, I think we could all say that if we were in this spot right now with 2 games to go and we only got 1 loss, regardless who it was against, and you got a quarterback in Cam Ward that's right there in the Heisman race, we're in the playoff contention, currently seated number 3 and number 8 in the AP poll. I think any Miami fan out there will take that, right? And I think at the end of the day, we're going to find out if this team is built different from that 2017 team because we were in a similar spot with just a few games to go, and we saw how that ended. And I think with a guy like Cam Ward in this team, we got a lot of leaders and a lot of guys that have battled adversity. And Cam Ward, you know, shout out and kudos to the Miami media team that just, you know, put out a perfect video for this Heisman campaign for our guy Cam Ward. If you guys haven't watched it, make sure you watch it. It's about a 9 or 10 minute video. It's a behind the scenes of not only who Cam Ward is, but Patrice and Calvin and the rest of the great Ward family. And it just goes to show that this young man never gets rattled. And he doesn't even care about this Heisman thing, right? He doesn't care about a media or how big his name is. All he wants to do is win. He's gone through plenty of losses from the other 2 programs that he's been around. This isn't anything new to him. he's ready to turn this program around along with a lot of other great players on this team.
Yeah. The more and more I think about it, we cannot waste this unbelievable offense, dude.
Yep.
We have to win these last games, get to that ACC championship, and find a way to win it. This defense has to patch something together to help us. I mean, slow down the other team a little bit so we can outscore them at worst. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny how it works out, because before the year we would have all said, you know what, 9 wins, this is outstanding. But now, we're like you just said, we're in the situation where you don't want to waste this historic offensive season we're having. Like, you lose one of these last 2 games, you're 9-2. It's going to feel empty because you're right there. I mean, you can't waste. And I want to see what you guys got to say. There was a lot of talk all this bye week about the defense, and Mario was on 560 this week. Yesterday, that it's the players and the coaches, he was saying, and they feel like they're in a good place this week because obviously a lot of practice time, and so obviously I'm sure they worked on a lot of this stuff. But there was a lot of talk of former players looking at our team against GT talking about we weren't even aligned properly.
Yep.
And I saw that from several former players online, and they know football more than I do because they played the game. So that's an eye opener,
Yeah. I personally think here's the thing. When you watched our defense in the last few weeks, communication and misalignment and misassignments, this isn't anything new that we haven't seen the last few weeks, right? And I think the fact that the media is coming out here and saying the same thing that our fans are doing, and they're not really pointing fingers or putting blame on the players. With a guy like Lance Guidry, he kind of understands that, a lot of it is on him and some of it is on the players as well. But you got to know the pros and cons to some of these players and put them in the right instances. And they also need to be able to watch film, not only from the past week of Georgia Tech, but even following weeks prior. And, by this point, we're 10, 11 weeks in. You know what these guys are good and not good at. And unfortunately, so do the opposing offenses, because by this point, they have so much film on this team. And you're so late in the season where you can't really change too much. At this point, you kind of go with what you got, and you got to understand the task at hand and just be able to stop the simple things. And unfortunately, even the simple things are things that this team hasn't stopped. And, we might as well get right into this Wake Forest matchup. One simple thing that this team hasn't been able to stop all year is long gains by the running back. And when you look at the Wake Forest team, this running back in particular, they have a young man by the name of Damon Claiborne, who's literally the guy that runs through the offense. Very similar to how number 33, Tutel, I believe the running back for Virginia Tech a few weeks ago when we played them season.
Yeah.
He's going to be the guy that you're going to have to watch. He's the guy that not only could break it, and he's got about almost 1,000 yards with 11 touchdowns already this season. And he's someone that not only can he, off of one run score, but they're going to bring them in motion a lot. And as we know with this defense, motion really confuses this team. Between that and the mesh concepts that they're going to run, they're really going to test this defense. So I'm really interested to see what type of changes and communication, and if these guys can really get on the same page. I know, like Mando just mentioned, Mario said in the press conference earlier this week that we should get some guys back. Elijah Alston, Ryan Rodriguez, and Damari Brown are game time decisions. And I think we'll be getting Popo Aguirre back as well. So we're starting to get a little bit more healthy. Let's see what happens going in. But what are y'all's, first thoughts on this Wake Forest matchup?
Well, has Bain been healthy? Because he's played well, but he has not been the same factor he was last year as a freshman. I mean, is it just a sophomore jinx, or is he just not 100% healthy when he came back? Because if he's not healthy, maybe this little rest and everything will be an advantage. Secondly, who was it? Barron kind of disappeared a little bit. He looked like what, the Bronco Nagurski Award? What is that award they give for linemen? I mean, he looked awesome with all the sacks and everything like that. I mean, and the other guy, I think the biggest guy is the other number one. He is not. The first few games, he looked like an All-American. He looked unbelievable. And maybe he got hurt too. A lot of times behind the scenes, we don't know, a guy gets nicked up and he's just not playing the same. But Kiko has not been the same player in the last few weeks, and he is the key guy in the middle. So those are the guys. Kiko is key. If he's playing like he should be playing, or he was playing, our defense did a heck of a lot better. But when those guys on individual efforts fell off, our team did, and the cutbacks and being out of position when a guy just jukes us and fakes us out. We have got to get that down. I mean, we're a 23.5-point favorite over Wake Forest. Not that we ever look at the line, guys, of course. But we're a 23.5-point favorite. And you know what? We can't tackle a guy one-on-one a lot. The first few games were gang tackling. It was old Miami Hurricane football. Yeah. So I don't know if it's Mario. A lot of people blame Mario for the loss, Guidry, or it's just the players that we don't have the players. So so what's your thoughts on that? What's everyone got? Hey, to 305 Sports Now. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, shout out to Will. He does great stuff and to cover the Hurricanes football and other sports. 305 Sports Now. Make sure you guys hit that like button and follow his work as well. Great stuff. Like he mentioned, us as well. Alston, Popo should be back as well. But Cliff, Mando, what's y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, Will does really good stuff. Cliff, you want to go first? Go ahead, bud.
Popo will be back. Alston will be back. Ryan Rodriguez will not be back yet. Okay. That's what I heard or whatever. So passing that along. I just think that we have to figure out something on defense. I don't know what you can do at this point. Though in the season, you know what I'm saying? I mean, getting those players back are definitely going to help. But Brown is that's the key guy that I want to know that's back, because if Brown could come back, that's huge, because that's our biggest weakness is the secondary, and that's where he plays. He could play in that nickel spot and move Porter back outside, and I think that helps a lot of stuff in the secondary. But I don't know how much better we can get. But like I said, just slow the other team down, get a couple stops a game. You know what I'm saying? And we should be okay.
Is Porter 100% healthy? Because he took that bad fall, it seemed, and he was hurt on that last game. Is he back to healthy?
I think he's healthy enough to play, right? I think, again, going back to what I said, alluded to earlier, you're 11 weeks into a football season. I don't think a lot of these guys are 100%, but they're good enough to be able to play some football. And I think at the end of the day, you got to overtake that Mario Cristobal mentality, and there's no excuses, right? You're going to have to play through injuries. You're going to have to play banged up. And, Brett, you mentioned Ruben Bain. I'm sure he hasn't been 100% all year, but guess what? A guy like Ruben Bain's not going to make excuses. He's not going to go out there and take a play off. And those are the type of guys you need in this locker room. You need more of those guys. So there are no excuses.
Absolutely. Mondo, I didn't mean to cut you off. What do you got? What words of wisdom?
No, you're good. All week or last couple of days, there has been a lot of talk about the middle linebacker. Could be hurt. People are saying the number change. It's hard to explain. I don't understand. Early in the year, we talked about the front four. Early in the year, they were
unbelievable,
living in the backfield. Now, I think after the Duke game, Guidry made mention to, was the scheme or whatever Duke was doing. We saw what happened against GT, first run, 65 yards. It's hard to explain, but I don't think his job is on the line by any stretch of the imagination. But I'll say this. If you were to lose one of these next two games, you're going to start to see some UM fans start to because, again, it's one thing your offense is blah or whatever, but this offense is on the lines of like 2019 LSU. They've been that good. So you blow one of these next two games, you don't even make the conference ship.
No, I think there could be some shakeups. I've heard some things behind the scenes that really could be a shakeup. Hope not. Just hope we win out. That's the key. GT changed nothing on their offense. Correct. It's like they fooled us last year. Their defense fooled us last year. The same thing with Tyler. We went into the game, looked impressive. We had the record of most points for the first 3 games or 4 games. And this year, both sides, we just couldn't. They outcoached us. So
can they outcoach
Mario, or is that our coordinators? Who are they?
Can you guys believe that the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football team has a head-to-head more winning percentage than Miami career-wise?
Yeah, I think
that? Georgia Tech has Miami's number in football currently with the win and loss total.
Wow.
And I mean, that's absurd. And then going back to the defensive line point, look, guys, in this day and age of NIL and transfer portal, it's just like when you pay for a subscription or when you pay your bills. When you pay something and you see that money in that check that's leaving your bank account, you demand whatever you're paying for. And guess what? As much as we paid Cam Ward this offseason, guess what? He's given us exactly what we paid for. When you look at that defensive line group, we brought in 5 to 6 guys from the portal this offseason. That didn't come for free, right? There was a couple zeros and dollar signs with these 4 to 5 guys that we're relying on throughout the season. And unfortunately, they haven't played to the potential of what they're getting paid. And we got to get these guys going because we are into the late middle of the season, and we already know how our linebackers and secondary are. And I think this team and this staff knew before the season that our secondary wasn't going to be top-notch or best. That's exactly why we were still calling teams 2 weeks before fall camp, trying to get some more guys in the building. But we were really relying on this defensive line and pass rush to really help the back end of this group, because we already knew the deficits were going to happen. But unfortunately, this D-line group just isn't playing up to par, in my opinion.
You know, I think a lot of people blaming the defense for this game, but I really think the offense, I mean, you can't give them 100% slack. We scored 23 points, which is not, you scored 23 points, you may not deserve to win. So forget how bad, 28 points on the defense, as bad as they played, that's 28 points. We went away from the run game. All right. Martinez was having an amazing game. We went away from that. We went away from the quick passing game. I mean, I don't know why every pass had to be a drawn out long pass. I mean, our quick passing game is second to none, just hitting those guys right over the middle. I mean, we hit Arroyo. We really never went back to any play like that. Estrepo a lot of times didn't see until the second half. His second half statistics are much better than his first half. We don't have any screens to the running backs. And again, we're only running the ball right up the middle. We have one play. Hand the ball up the middle. Fletcher up the middle. Martinez up the middle. There's no pitches. There's no sweeps. There's nothing. So why are we not being more creative on offense? A sweep, a fake a sweep, hand up the middle, something. We're just not doing anything really creative.
305.
And you got to take the points when you can, right? Will just mentioned 7 points left on the, we were actually left 9. It was 3 field goal opportunities that you didn't even take in that football game against Georgia Tech. So it was actually 9 points.
Yeah, we're going for touchdowns.
Well, you remember,
I like the gutsiness, but that's a game we should have won.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, it's 3 field goals and the extra point. Remember, we went for 2. It's really 10 points.
10 points.
Even if
we got 10. Do I hear it's 11? Do I hear 11? We got 10. Okay, thank you. 10 points.
3 field goals and an extra point. But if we even if Andy missed one, which I don't think he would have,
he's kicking amazing. God, you know, in a game like that, Mario. Okay, and a lot of people I know blame Mario. A lot of season ticket holders, Golden Canes, they were more pissed at Mario than Guidry, Dawson. They were not at any player. A lot of people said to me, and I didn't think so, Mario's got to go. He only has to recruit. They just thought like it was on Mario, but you know, he gets a little confused sometimes. When they were going to do that, they lined up in their formation. He called that timeout immediately. Didn't even wait to see what was going to happen. He rushes. You know, that timeout could have been deadly for us when he called that. But you know, just not a good coaching performance. I thought they outcoached us. They outperformed us. We need to be better, not only on defense, but on offense.
Well, I will say this during the – go ahead, Red.
No, go, Mando, go.
No, that this is a bye week. So all that being said about that past game, and they should not have lost that game, I mean, Mario harps on it every Monday. These conference games are playoff games. Well,
yes,
I don't care who you're playing from now on going forward. They're all playoff games at this point. I don't care if it's Wake Forest, Syracuse, or Championship Alabama or Georgia. Like, you got to lay it all on the line starting this week. Don't take anybody lightly. We're not good enough to take anybody lightly. So come out early on Saturday. Get through the damn offensive line of Wake Forest. Make an impact defensively. That's where it's going to start. We'll see early, obviously, in this game if we're back to the same old defense. And we'll see.
I'm not too worried about the offense. I think Cam Ward, especially coming off this bye, is going to be hungry. He's going to throw at least 4 or 5 touchdowns, 300 plus. But I think to your point, the defense, right, coming off a bye and after a loss like Georgia Tech just beat us physically. They beat us from a fundamental standpoint, but yet they didn't have nearly the talent that Miami does. And guess what? Yeah. You're about to face another opponent that's very similar to Georgia Tech. They don't have as much talent as you, but guess what? They play with effort and they play fundamentally sound. You want to talk about numbers and guys flying around the football? They have a cornerback, a guy in the secondary by the name of Nick Anderson, who has 105 tackles already this year, right? 105 tackles. Not only do they have him, but they have 3 other guys that have 82, 70, and 60 tackles on the year. Our leading tackler is Kiko Mainoa with 63 tackles, just to give you an idea from a defensive standpoint of how many guys they get around the football, and they tackle fundamentally well. So this is going to be a good time, opponent that we're going to have to really test ourselves on both ends of the football field, because this is one you're not going to be able to take lightly like you did with Georgia Tech.
On a positive note, though, when my dad, or I don't know who always used to say it, when someone in the secondary is leading the team in tackles, that means you're getting to that guy.
You're getting
You're getting through the first 2 layers.
You're getting through the layers. Okay, so we need to win. We can't take anybody lightly. We know I've been advised. We need to be up 30-1 to nothing at halftime, and then we just need to take this team out of the game. We let Georgia Tech in the game early. We got to take teams out. And I did hear one national guy say, he thought the Canes were definitely going to do it. He said, because you know what? We've been the best team in college in the fourth quarter, and probably the best team in the second half. Okay, so we just got to translate that to 60 minutes. We can't let teams play around with us. So part of that is developing that running game and pounding them and wearing them down. That is what we didn't do this game. That's why we are, even if we don't get yards from Martinez and Fletcher, what are they both about, 225, 230? And the offensive line, just keep pounding it. So that was the disappointing thing. We went away from the run. So hopefully we don't do that. By the way, breaking news, it looks like the Heisman does count. The stats in the championship game does count.
You go.
So
we got our guy Polkane from You Heard as well.
Yeah, shout out.
Polkane from You Heard. Thanks for joining the show.
Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. Those guys over there do great work as well. But yeah, man, like you said, man, we gotta continue to pound the football. But I'll tell you a separate side note, right? One thing that Mario and this staff is going to continue to pound is these rivals and these other fans from other schools when it comes to the recruiting trail. There's about 14, 15 days left until early signing day. It is officially under wraps, and I guarantee you that Miami has at least 1 or 2 more possible big-time recruits that they will possibly be landing in this class. You guys already know it's Christmas season's around the corner. That doesn't mean just presents under the tree. That also means Merry Grinchmas for Mario and the staff. These guys are going to be taking recruits from all your favorite fan bases, while our rivals in Florida and Florida State have mid-off, battles with some of these lower-ranked guys. This staff is not settling for any mediocre things. We're going to continue to build a top 5, top 7 class. You already flipped a guy in Hayden Lowe right there from Oaks Christian, same high school that Kayvon Thibodeau went to. And when you look at their measurables coming out of high school, these guys are literally identical. And this was a guy that was recruited under Mario Cristobal at Oregon, and then you saw what he's been able to do in the New York Giants. So being able to flip a USC commit in Hayden Lowe, who is now our highest ranked commit in this 2025 recruiting class, definitely is kudos and says a lot to the staff, especially a guy like Jason Taylor, who's been continuously doing a great job on the recruiting trail. But he's not going to be the only flip in the next 15, 16 days. So make sure y'all stay tuned. We'll be having our guy Gio Million on the show tomorrow night with me to talk about some recruiting and transfer portal targets in the future.
Can't miss that show. Gio and Brad together in one place. That's going to be awesome. So it's going to be exciting.
And we get a defensive tackle flip.
I mean, it used to be February. It moved it up. Now we're basically December. What do you say, Uncle Cliff?
We need a defensive tackle flip, please.
We need some defensive tackles.
Well, listen. There's a school out in Columbus that Miami has a very good relationship at flipping guys at this time of the year. And thankfully, we do have a target currently committed in their class by the name of Jarquez Carter from Newberry High School, right down the road from where I am up here in Gainesville. And, having an interview with him a few months ago, we were the first big-time school to not only offer Jarquez Carter, but make him feel like he is a 5-star recruit. The first time ever a helicopter landed at that Newberry High School was by none other than Mario and the staff. Not only him, but the whole school pretty much. It felt like a scene in the movie. Everybody ran to the windows. People were running outside trying to figure out if Donald Trump or someone famous was coming to the high school. And it was Mario and this staff that paid a visit to Jarquez Carter. And we already have his teammate, Micah Newton, currently committed in this class. And one of the biggest things that his family would like to do, is see Jarquez play each and every weekend. And it's a very long trip from Newberry, Florida to Columbus, Ohio. And I make this from Gainesville to Miami each and every weekend. It's only 4.5 hour drive. So I think, being able to stay more in the state of Florida could definitely help the recruiting process. So let's see what happens with someone like Jarquez Carter. I know Uncle Cliff wants some D tackles, and that's someone you could look out for.
We'll take him and TJ. linebacker TJ.
Oh yeah, we got some linebackers that I think will definitely be coming our way. Not only him, but Kevin Riley Jr. is another guy from Armwood, 6'4", 230. Man, this guy could play side on the sideline. He's a headhunter. I think Miami's in a very good spot for both of those guys. Do you take 4 linebackers in this class? We'll see, but I think if both of those guys want in, you definitely take them, and both of those guys are trending in the right direction.
Take as much talent.
Bryant, has he been playing? I mean, he started off pretty good, and he's been quiet the last few games. Has he been hurt or what?
No, I think honestly, some of these guys, Brett, unfortunately, that their time just has to wait, or they're just being put in certain spots where they only get those 4 or 5 plays, and they got to make what's best out of them. You see someone like Booker Pickett Jr., who's had little opportunity, but when he gets in, he makes plays. Cole McConaughey early in the year was the same way. And I know people are screaming for more Ray and JoJo and Elijah Lofton on the offensive side. And I think there's reason to do that. But at the same time, don't try to fix something that's not broken. And I think we could all agree, Isaiah Horton, Jacoby George, Elijah Arroyo, Sam Brown, these guys are doing their thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, we are doing exactly what we need to do on the offensive side of the ball. And yet we haven't had any injuries, knock on wood. And I think until that happens, we may not be able to see some of these guys in more playing time just because we're not going to go with something that's not broken.
Good point. 52 Biggie says the playoff committee put us at number 8. They better play like a damn number 8. They'll tell you that if Wake Forest scores in the 30s, fire Guidry right after the game. He doesn't even get on the bus or the plane. Poke Kane, I agree. Just hate that NSD is right before the ACC championship game. That makes absolutely no sense. And Poke Kane says we're going to have 4 wide receivers of 500 yards. That's phenomenal.
I mentioned that before the show. We'll actually have 5 if you include Elijah Arroyo probably once the season's all over.
Correct.
So you got 5 guys.
I mean, that's amazing.
That is amazing, but that's what
They're
happens.
loaded.
Heisman Trophy quarterback, you know. So now that we know the ACC championship is our bust for Cam, he needs to get to. Even though what's his name didn't get there last year, right? The LSU quarterback and others. Caleb didn't get to the championship in the Pac-10 that year, and he got it. So, but if Cam can get there, you know, and he can get 45 touchdowns or so and 4,500 yards. We'll see what happens, but we need to go 12-1.
Look, as bad as our defense has been in the last few weeks, and people want to point fingers at players or Guidry, you have all reasons to do that. But guys, let's calm down a little bit. We're right on schedule. We knew when we got Cam Ward, our expectations went up another notch, and we had to get to the ACC championship, and we got to win. Well, guess what? It's right in front of us. All you got to do is go 1-0 the next 2 weeks, and it's right there for you. So let's continue to support this team and not get too carried away, right? Because I think this team is going to be able to handle business. And like I mentioned before, we only got 14, 15 days, and Mario's going to continue to handle business on the recruiting trail. There's other big-time targets out there that I know fans are hoping we flip, whether it's DJ Pickett from LSU, Ben Hanks Jr. from Florida, right? And then, you know, there's some rumblings going around about Dallas Wilson right out here in Tampa that's currently committed to Oregon, right? There are some big-time targets that we are going to be headhunting for, and this is nothing new. This time last year, Mario flipped Justin Scott November 29th, Armando Blunt December 20th, Jordan Lyle December 18th, and Aldarius Hayes December 20th. So those are 4 to 5 guys that Mario was able to flip this time last year, and we just flipped Hayden Lowe, and guess what? I just mentioned 3 or 4 other guys on the table along with some others. So I think there's a lot in the pipeline that's going to be coming our way in the next 14, 15 days, and I think Miami fans need to be excited for it.
Yeah, Pokane said Tyler Williams as well. I don't know if you mentioned him, Brad. But it's you know what, the recruiting and we recruited from not a team that was not playing that well. You can't believe Florida State's going to be able to beat us at recruiting right now, or the Gators. So, I mean, we have every opportunity in the world right now to have great, but it's all about on field right now. We got to win. We got to go to 10-1, and yeah, we can't be down on the team. I mean, I did not think we'd be 9-1 at this time. Most people didn't, but it's like that.
Right.
I remember when Butch Davis in the year 2000, when we lost to Washington, and everybody was calling for him and Larry Coker's job and everything, even though we were so bad for so long. But as soon as we get to be good again, let's get rid of everybody. We've lost the game. It's ridiculous, So And every year we've been 7 wins? We've 6 wins. It's now we've got 1 loss and we're ready to get rid of the whole team.
Brad sounds like
everybody.
Brad
Hey
sounds
man,
like Tom Brady.
I need his bank account and my wallet to sound like Tom Brady too, man. That's what I need. If I sound like, at least I don't sound like Tony Romo. I'll take it as a compliment.
There he goes. Brad's got the golden arm like Tom Brady too.
There's no discussion about the Dallas Cowboys on this show anymore, ever.
Oh, dude. And you know what makes it worse, Cliff?
I don't even watch.
I've already said before the season started when we got Cam Ward that after the season's over, wherever Cam Ward goes, that'll be my new NFL team, right? But then what makes it worse is that our Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to put it in quotes because after this year, I'm not a Cowboy fan, but our Dallas Cowboys are going to be set up to possibly have the opportunity of drafting Cam Ward. And guess what? They're going to go with Shador Sanders because Dion is in Jerry Jones's back pocket. So even if they did have the opportunity to take a quarterback and both of those guys are on the table, we wouldn't even take Cam Ward, even though he's right there in the state of Texas and from there. And it's just very upsetting because Cam Ward's the guy.
Yeah.
It's amazing you're going to draft a quarterback with one of the first 2 picks when you just signed the guy for like $800 million or whatever.
Super overrated, by the way. Dak Prescott, can of poop.
Hey,
Well,
Brad's going with Cam, whoever Cam Ward goes with, and I go wherever X goes. Wherever X goes, that's my team.
Hopefully they both go to the same team for you, Cliff, so you can root for the
same. Then
me
and Brad stay together with
I think Cam Ward at 14-1. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but that's crazy odds, 14-1. Mando was so excited about it, he dropped off.
Correct.
Ward
hey, Mando and the Florida State recruits have something in common. They both drop off.
I think Ward is the better player. I know they've got the same coach, which, by the way, Brad went ahead and interviewed him, correct?
Yes,
if you want to look back at one of those episodes, Brad, all of his episodes, you can go see. What was he did not only he did the Virginia Tech quarterback, obviously Cam and Shador. So that one guy is a monster. Who knows? Maybe he'll become the quarterback
Shout
coach.
out to Darren Colbert.
Maybe he'll become the quarterback coach. In a college or in the NFL. He's done a great job. He's done a great job. Peekaboo Mando.
He actually trained De'Aaron King as well. De'Aaron King and Graham Mertz.
All right. Derek's the offensive quarterback coach somewhere, right? SMU?
SMU, yeah, doing a pretty good job.
Now, I want to obviously play SMU. I just want to play in the ACC championship game.
I want to play Clemson.
I'd rather play Clemson, Brett. I'd rather play
Clemson. But they have to lose twice. They have to lose twice, SMU, so that's not going to happen. But I want to play in that game, but Lashley has it. Smith, Bouchard has it. All those guys have that game circled. De'Aaron King. It's like we want the king.
We should too.
Well, I would love Ward to the Dolphins 305 Sports. I'll donate right now to it right now.
What color is the team wearing this weekend? If I had to guess, it'd probably be orange.
They go Ward going the 10th pick in some of these mock drafts. It's ridiculous. He'll go top 3, but they got him going top 10. I mean, I've got him at 16-1 to go number 1, but we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen now, unless we win out and win the championship, which would be awesome, wouldn't it?
That'd be great.
Mondo's on mute.
Mando, you there?
Oh, still on mute.
Mute, Mando. You're on mute. Still mute.
No. Go. Wait, I'm gonna remove you and bring you back, or you drop off and come back. I think you got a call or something before.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple weeks ago. I got a call and it messed me all up.
Brad wants to get rid of people. He just says, yeah. So I saw that SMU game again. What was that format? George saw the SMU game against BC, and they did not look good. I agree. And Duke should have beat them. Duke should have beat that team. So I don't. The problem that scares me is Bouchard, Smith, and the other running backs. We saw what Smith did for us. I mean, and just what was that, the Clemson game when he went 98 or 99 yards? That was pretty much. Yeah. He is a beast. I fear seeing our guys trying to tackle him. I hope we get to that point, but I fear that us trying to contain him.
Let's just win this weekend. We'll figure it out after.
Yeah, one game at a time. One game at a time.
My heart can't take any more than that.
Right? So who's got a hot pick for the college or NFL that this is for fun only, and we know absolutely nothing. But who's got a hot pick? What's your picks of the week, Brad?
I think Mondo's on a hot streak the last couple of weeks. Go ahead,
Mondo. That was I may or may not have been biting my fingernails on the couch because you obviously bring stuff like that up here on this show and then online. You want to come through, and I just knew that Pittsburgh at home. I had them Pittsburgh. I mean, I'll be quick about it. Pittsburgh +3. They always give the Ravens. That's a defensive war. It's a division battle. Buffalo, I just had a feeling. I mean, KC, we know what KC is, but Buffalo at home, you figured that this was their Super Bowl game, and Buffalo came through. Buffalo's a team. Josh Allen right now is he's overtook Lamar Jackson for the MVP vote. He's at plus 125. Lamar's at plus 200. So wow. Josh Allen's playing ball. Buffalo's pretty good, but
he's playing ball. Before the season started, I loved Pittsburgh. I love when they had the two quarterbacks. They were 10-1 to win the division, and I took it. And they were 60-1 to win the Super Bowl, and I took that one too.
Why aren't you guys texting me these picks? Damn it!
I will say, and this pick may not go over well with Canes fans because it might be about a team. But I spotted it literally an hour before the show. But when it comes to betting, money's money, and it goes in your pocket. So we don't care who it is. So I will say, Ole Miss at Florida. Ole Miss is a 10.5-point favorite.
That's high. That's high.
Okay, Ole Miss beat Georgia. I get it. This is a playoff game for Ole Miss as well. It looks like they're going to get Trey Harris back, the star wide receiver. He hasn't played since LSU. Lagway's playing good ball for UF.
Yeah.
It's senior day at UF. It's 10.5 points. Ole Miss is the better team. They should win the game. They're still a 2 to 3 score favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I got to take UF plus 10.5.
All right.
I think they can keep it within 10.5. I don't think they're going to win the game. But plus 10.5, I'll take the Gators with the points.
10 points.
Any other Mando for a quick hit? Is there a number 2, or that's your main one?
For now, I'll go with that one. I mean, for now, I'll go with that one.
All right.
Follow Mando on Twitter for other betting needs.
I'll say this: we brought up the Pittsburgh Steelers the last couple of weeks, right? And I think them at minus 3.5 against the Cleveland Browns this weekend might be something to look at. You want to talk about college games? I think that SMU and Virginia at over 58. Both of those two teams like to score a lot of points. I think SMU is going to continue to do what they've been doing on offense, and I think Virginia could cause some issues for their defense as well. I like that at over 58. And then, hey, Indiana plus 12.5 against Ohio State. I think that's going to be a closer game than what people think. I think that could be probably a 3 to 7 point game. So those are my top 3 picks.
Good call. So Virginia plus 10, not just because my son went there, but they helped us out. They just beat they're coming along. They got a nice quarterback from Florida. I like that a lot.
They beat
Bennett's been coaching well. All the Virginia fans wanted him gone after like 3 weeks, but I think Virginia covered the 10. I think they'll definitely cover the 10. I can see Virginia winning the game. It's in Virginia. It's a big game for Virginia. They're 5-5. They turned it around. I like Virginia plus the 10 and Virginia on the money line in that game.
I don't know about this. You asked me one more. I'll add this one. I got to think about it a little more. But Kansas, their record is not good. But Kansas is playing much better ball the last month or so. Yeah. They just beat BYU. They're a 2.5 point dog at home to Colorado. That game is going to be tough. That's not going to be easy for Colorado whatsoever. So that's a game to watch. I'm not quite sure where to go with that one yet, but that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think Drake May is going to be difficult for the Dolphins, but I think the Dolphins are starting to play well. I think it's only 7 points that game against not a good, bad New England team. And but more importantly, I think the Dolphins total in that game is Dolphins total points is only 27.5, 26, 27.5. I think the Dolphins will score 30 in that points, but what do I know?
I'll tell you one thing, Brett. One thing that's really important, not only is trying to make a few bucks on some of these betting odds that we're doing, but one of the most important things to do is to go over to CanesWear.com.
Well, thank you.
Whether you're 50 miles away, 500 miles away, or if you're right down the street over there in Davie, Florida at 2655 South University Drive, make sure you go to CanesWear.com for all your Miami Hurricanes and Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Miami Heat, Marlins, Inter Miami gear. We got some of the newest gear out, like Brett has mentioned in the last show. We got the new Michael Irvin long sleeve shirt right there for $59.95. You can go ahead and get your long sleeve Michael Irvin shirt that he's been wearing each and every week. Seems like he doesn't wash it. You can get one of your very own at CanesWear and be able to wash it.
Exactly. We're low on size. I spoke to Michael. We're going to get some more in. We have the new sneaker there. That Supernova is an Alpha Boost. I'm sorry. Awesome sneaker. Just came in super comfortable. Jeff Ward, he says he loves it. I love the colors. Looks very sleek. It's getting cold out, as we all know. So we got the. I mean, it's going to be, I think, like high 40s, low 50s for at the beginning of the morning for Wake Forest. Even in the game, it's going to be like the 60s. So we've got the new inside out reversible double trouble starter jacket. We've got the black and white combination, the Hurricanes on the front with the big U on the back on the black side, and the Canes on the front and the U on the back. Same thing with the orange and green. You get an orange and green jacket, 2 for the price of 1. It's not even that much more than the regular starter jacket. And you're getting Canes with a big U. And you're getting Sebastian on the side on both of them, inside or out. Unbelievable deal. And that 175, that starter jacket, limited quantity. We're really excited about that. Tons of new shirts. We've got the new black polo. We've got just getting a big order of the Cam Ward jerseys in tomorrow. We've got some. We're at low on orange right now, but we've got them coming back tomorrow. We got the new Miami Knights black helmet, which is awesome. Tons of new Panther stuff. Tons of new old style Dolphin stuff. Lots of stuff going on at CanesWear. Really exciting. We're just getting the those. They blow up and they whatever you call them. Those things in the front. They blow
inflatables.
Up.
The inflatables.
Oh yeah.
The inflatables, lots of inflatables, lots of good stuff happening. We're really excited. We're going to pick somebody for a $25 CanesWear gift card, and it's just good stuff happening. Come by the show. Poke Kane and the whole You Heard crew is coming by on Saturday. And great. You want to do any shooting in the store, or videoing the store, I should say? Well, please do.
Shooting.
Who's coming? Mando is Mando. You going to the game, right?
Yeah, I'll be out there Saturday.
All right, let's get some predictions for the game. What's everybody got?
Hey, Brett's buying so much stuff. He's using my basement and PA to store some of it.
I'm going to have to. We just got to get another store.
Believe me, I know. I brought a lot of those boxes in.
Jeff said, no more. No more. No more.
I used to tell him, stop buying stuff, bro. Where are you going to put it?
I know. There's no money in this business. It's just making people happy. I promise you. So, all right, what do we got for a score here, guys? I'm off by 38. Yes, sir, Poke Kane. We'll try to hold that 3X.
Jorge Blanco, what color is the team wearing? Probably orange, if I had to guess. That's our traditional home uniforms. It's the last home game of the season. Homecoming. I don't see them
orange
breaking
top,
any
white
type
bottom.
of tradition. Yeah,
Why
orange
can't
top,
we
white
say
bottoms.
it?
If I had to guess.
Why can't we say it the week before so people can get their gear? Is it a secret? Are we going to go ahead and fake the other team out? Are they thinking, oh, no, they're wearing orange. Now we have to game plan differently. What's that all about? They're wearing black now. We don't know how to play them this week. It's green. Watch out, the green machine. All right, what do we got, Cliff? The scores.
This week I say Canes 45-24.
Mm-hmm.
That's
45-24, racket.
45-24, racket.
All right, 69 points.
Mando, what do you got?
I got Miami 41, Wake 20.
41.
You almost picked my game. Okay, good.
I got 49-21 Canes. 49-21.
Wow, we're all right there in the same. I'm at 41-21. I'm at 41-21. The spread's a big 24 points right now. None of us are really. Brad's got it at 28 points. They didn't cover on mine. They didn't cover on yours, Mando, right?
Yeah, they got Miami's team. Generally, Miami's team total is hovering around 36, 37. They're at 43 and a half.
Well, yeah. Wake Forest doesn't have a great defense, and
No.
so maybe we can put up 60. Whatever. Whatever we win, just win every game.
Win the damn game.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have a guest picker again that's coming in right now.
Oh,
Hey,
Uh-oh.
the person that loves this show more than anybody.
All
Uh-oh.
right.
all right.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, dude!
Brett's number one.
It's Mama Cliff. It's
I'm
Mama
your
Cliff.
fan, dude.
I'm your fan. She
How
goes,
we doing, Mama
ask
Cliff?
Mondo why he's not wearing his hat.
Yeah, what
I was
the deal?
I was gonna mention that. I got the gel. I got the gel going.
Yeah, but you didn't
All right,
wear
you
it
look good
last
on
week
that.
either, by the way.
I know. The gel. I got the gel.
No,
going.
She
no.
writes our picks downs every week, and she's like, "Oh, Brad got it this week. Oh,
No, you guys-
Mondo got it this
You
week."
guys suck. 35-17, dude.
35-17.
35-17.
I like
All
it.
right. All right.
35-17.
House.
Hey, keep it up, guys. I watch every week.
Well, thank you very
We
much.
appreciate
appreciated.
All your
Thank you.
friends.
But I already know that you have to keep mentioning this shit every single week, what you ordered. And I know he's putting it on hold. And I know my credit card keeps going cha-ching.
It's like, Mom,
cha-ching,
Christmas is coming up.
cha-ching, cha-ching.
Exactly. It's
I can't buy anything until after the season.
I know
first
that.
it was
That's
you
why
can't
he
buy
told
anything
me.
until we lose a game. First, you can't buy
No,
anything,
that-
but I like it. I like it.
Oh, he told me after the season. So you already ordered like 50 new things every week.
Layaway.
Yes, my layaway.
We got the layaway plan, Cliff. By the way, that
Yeah.
company we don't do business with anymore. That Kane sign, Cliff, was one of the greatest things we ever sold. I'm glad you got it.
Best thing ever.
That's
Best
right.
thing ever, Kane. Look at that.
Everybody that comes over here says that sign is awesome.
That is awesome. Is it lit up right
Guys,
now or no?
Keep up the good work,
Come on,
guys.
Mom.
Thank
Great
you so
seeing
much.
you. Great seeing you.
You guys too. Hey,
Always a
Mando,
pleasure.
I'd like to happen.
Yeah.
Where's Mando's hat? She said.
George says, let's pack the rock. The team
Gotta
give
win the
us.
thing. Come on.
All right, there you go.
Nice.
It's another CanesWear item.
There you
Let's do
go. I
it.
love it.
I guess I'm gonna have to wear a hat next week. Is that
Yeah,
what
there you
we're doing here?
I agree with George.
She goes, I'll be watching.
I agree. If we don't sell out this game, I see tickets as low as $13. This could be. I mean, Cam Ward. No matter what
14. I hope so, Chris.
This is possibly the greatest season. This is the greatest season of any Miami quarterback. Okay.
Yep.
And if we get, it's our first opportunity in ACC championship, really. And we got to pack the rock. Good point, George. Let's pack the rock. Everybody go. I mean, it's $1,000 to go see Taylor Swift. $2,000. You can go to this game for $25 or $30 to see Cam Ward. I mean, to see Xavier Restrepo. It's the last home game. It's senior night for these senior.
It's a chance to win 10 games.
Correct, 10 games.
It's going to be a high of 72 degrees. There's no excuse.
Unbelievable.
No excuse.
It's gonna be
Perfect
beautiful.
weather.
Look at the salesman. The salesman by Mando. That's
Yeah.
great point.
62-14 Miami. Christopher, if
That
that's the score, Christopher, you come back next week and get a $50 gift card, okay? If that's the score
Nice.
next time, say exactly 62-14, Christopher. Remind us on the next show. You come on in here, watch the whole show, and say, "Hey, I picked it." So if it's exactly 62-14, 48-point spread, I'm taking that one to the bank.
You know what's going to happen, right? It's going to be 62-14 with like 8 seconds left. Wake Forest on the 3, and that person's going to be going crazy.
So great show, guys. This one.
49-20. I'll take that.
49-20.
All right.
All right.
49-20.
49-20. Let's get some wins. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do, from now on, we're going to do a CanesWear contest, and we're going to see those. We're going to write the numbers down. We're going to have Mrs. Mama Cliff write down all of them. We're going to do that every 2 weeks. Every week, we're going to do that from now on. I know there's only a couple of weeks left, but we got to get this going. Tell all your friends about this show. Remember, Brad is on daily. He's got Gio Milli on tomorrow. The Recruiters Paradise on tomorrow. You can always check out Mondo's great takes at what's it? Laker Mondo? What are you now again, Mondo? Magic Mondo?
No, that's at Lakers Canes 305.
At Lakers
And he's
Canes.
only Magic Mondo on anniversary nights.
Yo! Oh, well, it was my wife's birthday on Saturday, and I was jamming.
Mondo said, he says, I'm going to go out on the anniversary, and then Sunday morning, it's back to betting.
Yeah.
No, the best thing ever. He put in our group chat. He's like, man, checking these scores at this wife's dinner.
I'm not a UFC guy at all. I don't know much about it, but we were having dinner and her cousin texted me. He's like, here's a 3-leg parlay. He's a big UFC guy. And I was like, whatever, fine. I'll put $20 on it. The thing hit.
All right.
Yeah.
So you texted that. All right.
Nice.
Crazy.
Can't beat that. That's awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Brad, you got anything else about the show or anything else that you got? Other shows?
No, I mean, just continue to like and support the show right on the FinTalk Sports Network. Like Brett said, we got Gio Milli on tomorrow. We're going to be breaking down some recruits and also some transfer portal targets possibly for next season. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be diving in with Demon Deacons Digest 24/7 sports writer for Wake Forest, Cam Lemons. So we'll be breaking down the Wake Forest Miami matchup just like we do every week when we play an opponent. We'll get someone from the opposing side to break down the matchup. So we'll be having him on Thursday as well.
That's Demons Digest. Can you say that 3 times fast?
Demons Deacons Digest.
All right. So, Brad, you got a winner?
Yes, we got a winner. So today's winner is going to be Jorge Blanco. Jorge Blanco.
Right.
We need to win out.
Throughout the show, beginning and end. So shout out to Jorge Blanco. You got yourself a CanesWear gift card. Make sure you reach out to me or Brett through social media, and we'll be able to get that gift card to you. So Jorge Blanco, congratulations.
Just Jorge, congrats. Send us your name and email. If you bought from us before, just give us the email that you've used and message Brad or myself, CanesWear. All right, congratulations. Thank you,
Congratulations.
everybody, for joining the show. It was an awesome show. You got the four horsemen here. You got Uncle Cliff, who's a star. Mando is phenomenal. BT, Brad is unbelievable, does a great job. His best podcast around. And then you've got me just trying to help out any way I can. Remember, CanesWear? Oh, extended hours this week. We are open till 8 o'clock tomorrow. So tomorrow we're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's Thursday for this game. Remind me, I got to change Google. Friday we're open from 10 to 8. And Saturday, because it is a noon game and the staff really loves this, we are open till from 7 to 7. 7 to 7. And we usually have a crowd before the game and then a crowd after the game. So during the game it's a little quiet because everybody's watching. And then on Sunday, it's a home Dolphin game, so we're open 10 to 5. Come in there early. Hopefully, we can pull off a 1-2 Miami wins this weekend, the Canes and the Dolphins, and keep South Florida exciting.
Love it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. It's all about the U.
Go Canes.
Go Canes, baby. Go Canes.
Go Canes. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for us. CanesWear Daily Podcast, only on the FinTalk Sports Network. We're out. Peace.